Welcome to the deep dive. You shared a really interesting report on the Indian education system with us, and today we're going to unpack it.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Our mission is basically to understand its structure, get to grips with some key challenges, especially the thing about rote learning, and see how it's trying to adapt, looking at AI and even Olympic performance.
Exactly. Your sources cover a lot, right, from pre-primary all the way up to higher education. We'll be looking at the curriculum, the critiques around, just memorizing stuff, how that impacts creativity, employability,
Right.
the push for AI, India's recent Olympic results, how India stacks up globally, and what reforms are on the table.
Okay, so structure first. We all kind of know the old 10+2, but the report talks a lot about the new NEP 2020 system, the 5+3+3+4+1. What's the main idea behind that shift?
Well, it's quite interesting how they've designed each stage. The first part, the foundational stage, it's all about play-based learning, trying to build those early cognitive skills.
Makes sense.
Then the preparatory stage focuses more on language and numeracy. The middle stage introduces more abstract concepts, and then the secondary years aim for a multidisciplinary approach, trying to foster more critical thinking.
And the National Curriculum Framework, the NCF, that kind of guides what's taught. The report mentioned CBSE is pushing for inquiry-based learning. Is that happening everywhere?
So the NCF sets the framework, yeah, but how it's actually implemented can vary quite a bit. CBSE is definitely leaning into this inquiry-based, concept-driven approach, encouraging students to ask why.
Yeah.
But the reality across different states and other boards, it can still be pretty different.
Okay, let's tackle the big one, rote learning. The criticism in the report is, well, pretty strong. Why is this seen as such a fundamental issue?
It really just boils down to how we learn best, doesn't it? If you rely too much on just memorizing facts, it gets in the way of genuine understanding and critically applying that knowledge. And traditional teaching methods like lectures where you just listen and exams focused only on recall. They often don't push for deeper engagement.
So it's not just about forgetting things after the test. What are the longer-term problems?
Exactly. The report suggests it really stifles creativity because you're not encouraged to explore or find different answers. It also limits independent thinking and developing those crucial 21st century skills. Problem solving, analysis, innovation, skills you absolutely need.
And this directly impacts employability, doesn't it? The report used the term automatons, which is, quite a word.
It is striking. And what's critical is the mismatch. The mismatch between what's taught and what the job market actually needs right now. If the main goal is just memorizing for grades, graduates might lack the practical skills, the adaptability that industries demand, particularly in fast-moving fields like AI or data science. You look at systems like Finland or parts of Japan where critical thinking is prioritized earlier, the outcomes can be different.
Speaking of AI, it sounds like India is making a real push to integrate it into education. What are some of the key things happening there?
Yeah, the report highlights government initiatives like Viksit Bharat 2047, and the NEP 2020 itself strongly emphasizes AI, digital literacy, just being comfortable with digital tools and computational thinking.
Yeah.
AICTE calling 2025 the year of AI is another big signal. We're seeing curriculum changes. CBSE is adding AI. CSC is planning to. It's showing up in business schools. Some states are even adding AI and robotics as vocational subjects.
How is AI actually being used, though, in the classroom?
Well, the potential is pretty exciting. Things like personalized learning paths, platforms that work in multiple languages, adaptive tools that match a student's pace, even using AI for faster assessments and feedback.
Okay.
Platforms like Diksha are already starting to build in some of these features. Plus, there are specific programs popping up aimed at building AI skills for the future workforce, like AI for entrepreneurship.
Okay, shifting gears a little. The report also brings up Olympic performance. How does that connect back to education? Seems a bit different.
It's an interesting link. The report notes India's recent improvements modest, but still improvements in the Olympics. Tokyo 2020 was their best ever. Paris 2024 had some highlights too.
Right, Neeraj Chopra, Manu Baker.
Exactly. While things like more government funding and programs like Khelo India are factors, the report kind of suggests that a more holistic education system, one that actually values sports and physical activity right from the start, could contribute to more success globally. moving beyond just academics.
And how does India compare internationally, both in AI and the Olympics, according to the report?
Yeah, the comparisons do show some gaps. In AI, while India produces many engineers and research papers, it lags behind the US and China in research quality, like citations, and also in retaining top talent, like PhDs. Investment is also lower. In the Olympics, if you look at medals per capita compared to, say, the US, China, or Australia, the difference is pretty stark, often linked to stronger sports cultures, better infrastructure, and support systems starting much younger. Sports just aren't valued the same way in the education system generally.
So given all these challenges, what are the main reforms and solutions being put forward?
The big push, according to the report, is moving away from just memorization towards teaching that emphasizes actual understanding, hands-on experience, asking questions, inquiry-driven learning.
Right.
This means updating curricula to be more relevant, coding, AI, finance literacy, and really focusing on critical thinking, problem-solving, creativity, communication through practical methods, even changing how exams work towards more continuous, holistic evaluation, and, crucially, better teacher training.
And the NEP 2020 is the main blueprint for this.
Absolutely. That new 5+3+3+4 structure, the emphasis on native languages, the multidisciplinary focus, flexible degree options, bringing in vocational training from grade 6. It's all designed to create a more, well-rounded and skilled generation. Integrating sports more seriously is also part of that vision.
It really sounds like the Indian education system is at a pivotal moment, acknowledging the need to modernize, to move beyond maybe some outdated methods, to really prepare young people for what's ahead.
Exactly. There are definitely significant hurdles, making sure these changes actually happen effectively on the ground and reach everyone. But the focus on integrating tech like AI and fundamentally reforming teaching and learning, it offers a promising path. Your sources paint a picture of a system striving for global competitiveness.
Yeah. And considering India's huge youth population, that demographic dividend everyone talks about, it makes you wonder, how can these changes be sped up and scaled up effectively? How do you unlock all that potential and really position India as a leader, not just in numbers, but in actual innovation and achievement? And maybe what role do individuals, students, parents, educators play in pushing for this change? Definitely some food for thought. Thanks for this deep dive.
You're welcome. A lot to think about, indeed.